Merry Christmas, YouTube. Zioku here. I'm going to be reading the patch notes so you don't have to. This is for Miss Shrouded Sacrament version 2.4.1 update. Character event, Mushette. Limited time awakening. Duration, she will be here December 29th, 2025 through January 26th, 2026. So until next year. This is the new awakener and her wheel. We'll go over her kit after we go through the patch notes. Gameplay event, Miss Shrouded Sacrament. Duration, that is going through the 12th, December 29th through January 12th. So a little bit shorter than her banner. You get 700 silver, 6 luminous cores, 6 pure cores, 285 etheric shards. This will only make 2 of the upgraded material. Cute little avatar, 35 dream sparks, 16 light of intelligent, which is the SR wheel, 35 dream sparks, 60 dream shards, 280 mime tick crystals, and unlimited rose scripts. So if you're short on rose scripts, this could be a good event to farm for those rose scripts. Light of Intelligent, her SR wheel. Death resistance. If you're starting the event now, you're going to get the max. So you're going to get 50.4% death resistance. The wielder has a 100% chance to draw one of the wielder's strikes after unleashing the posse for the first time each turn. Not a terrible effect. As we'll go over Mushette's kit, she is a strike-focused hero, so this is pretty decent on her, but there are definitely better options if you're able to do 2 SSRs on her. Obtained Awakener Mushette and Wheel of Destiny Doomsday Rampage and Wheel of Destiny Light of Intellect to increase material drops. This is just saying if you have these 3 items, this unit and the 2 wheels, your drop rate for the event is better. Multiverse Link, Baptism of Silver and Blood. This is her posse event quest thing. A butterfly in the rainforest flaps its wings gently, stirring a storm upon a distant plateau. Mushette doesn't see herself as fragile or insignificant creature like a butterfly. What she intends to stir is not a mere storm, but an entire dimension, a whole universe. Hello, world. Hello, other world. I'm going to have so much fun. New posse. Draw 2 strike cards. If Mushette is in this team, reduce their arith cost by 1. This is a pretty good posse. It might be her best in slot. As I said, she was strike focused. This is draw 2 generic strikes, so it's not necessarily her own strike cards. It could be from one of the other 3 teammates you have. But still reducing their cost by 1 is good. You do want to play other strikes from other teammates. That buffs some of her effects, as well as it gives them 10 arithmetica, which is pretty good. Wheel of Destiny Archives, Golden Goat's Dance. This is also starting on the 29th, and it goes through the 26th. This is a paid wheel. Countdown moment. Attributes. 21.6 key flare at E0, 43.2 key flare at max ascension. They give you enough to E3 it for free, and then if you want extras, you'll have to purchase the pack. At the start of exploration, add 1 countdown moment 5 to the deck. Countdown moment 5, this is the effect of the card. Draw 1 card after played. Shuffle the next countdown moment into the discard pile. Exhaust. So you play the first one, and then that card changed to countdown 4, and it goes into the discard pile. Next time you get that one, countdown 4, you play it. Countdown 3 will go into the discard pile. Once you've gone to countdown moment 0, its new effect is draw 3 cards, gain 3 arithmetica, and have a 100% chance to shuffle countdown moment 5 back into the discard pile, and you do that over and over and over again. This is fairly good for discard focus comps, so Corposant, Orita, Kasaya, and then whoever fourth you want to throw in there. It is a pretty good wheel just for the key flare. There's not a lot of easy to get plus 12 key flare wheels in the game. I wouldn't necessarily say spending money is easy to get. It's $15. And as a free-to-play player, you won't max it out. But base SSR key flares are still pretty good at E3. So that's kind of up to you on the value. The pulls are pretty nice, and the wheel is pretty good. I think it's great on discard comps. I have a discard comp myself, so I will probably be buying it. I am not a huge fan of the art style is its own thing, but I don't like these unit art styles. I prefer the wheels where they look like weapons and stuff. Rerun Awakenings. Duration, January 12th through February 9th. So this is about a week or two after Mushette's banner. So this won't be starting this weekend. Triune Verdant, character event Awakening. You have Daffodil, Miriam, and Dorsane. I think they're all pretty good units. If you have G. Murphy, which her banner is currently running, so most likely you have a copy or two of her, Miriam is a really, really strong unit to pair with her. She got recently buffed, so her Rouse is just incredible. It gives Vuln and Weakness, and you can do that 3 times. So she's really good to pair with G. Murphy. Doracine, in my opinion, he's the weakest of the Arc 2 units. I don't think he's the weakest unit in the game by far. He's actually quite powerful, and he can clear most content with a team focused around him. He just has some weird interactions where he has to always be hitting the lowest HP target, and when a boss summons mobs and the boss is still there, the lowest HP target is almost never the boss itself. So he can sometimes struggle actually hitting the boss with the mobs there. But he does hit very, very hard when he does hit. But he's kind of more of a one-trick pony there. And Daffodil, she is, I believe, if I'm recalling correctly, she was the very first limited awakener in the game. So her kit has aged a little bit. She's still good, and I have a couple of comps where I've used her E0, level 3 skills, level 60, and still got alert 5 in D-Tide using kind of a base Daffodil. Sylvian Omen, Wheel of Destiny Event Awakening. These are Daffodils, Miriam's, and Dorasane's wheels, respectively. Rerun event, Phantom of the Rainy Town. Duration, January 12th, 2026 to January 26th, 2026. 600 silver, 6 luminous cores, 6 pure cores, 255 etheric shards. That will just make, again, 2 of the big shards. 25 dream sparks, her event avatar, Daffodil's SSR wheel, 50 dream shards, mimetic crystals, 240, and unlimited 1,000 face seals and unlimited scroll rose scripts. Doesn't seem too bad. And if you have Daffodil, her SSR wheel and her SR wheel, you get increased materials. School Activity, Issue 27. Duration, December 29th, 2026 through January 26th, 2026. If you log in, I think it's 7 days, you'll get the 10 luminous cores and premium topic rewards. This is for the battle pass. You'll get these cool avatars here. I like Sorel as a unit, how they look. I think so. This avatar is really nice for me, but it'll be up to you if you're worth it. The battle pass generally isn't worth it for pools. It's decent on pools, but it's not the best value for pools. But it is really good for unit materials. So strengthening your account, the battle pass is really good for that. Trap phase, season reward, this is PvP. I personally do trap phase. So I will probably be getting that corpo emoji, but I know not everybody does trap phase. General updates, CG rework. One story CG in the Investigation Astral Reign Chapter 3 has been redrawn. That looks pretty dang cool. Quality of life update. The alumni now features a follow all back function, plus various UI improvements have been implemented across the game. Great. Love UI improvements. I hate following multiple people back because every morning when I log into the game, it's like follow, 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 follow. Nice little quality of life, and I am glad that the devs are doing little quality of lives. They could have just left that, and people would have just done it, but this is just a nice little thing. Trap phase, draft pick now features unique battle music. Pretty cool. Extensive balance adjustments will bring a brand new dueling environment. Most Warborn Awakeners have been strengthened. We'll have to go over that when the patch notes are here. I do like trap phase, but I'll kind of save that for the end of the patch note video. Version updated supplies, 200 silver and 5 pure core. So that is the patch notes for the 2.4.1 version update. Let's go to Mushette. Awakener overview. This place is boring me to tears. Isn't there anything fun around here? Like, smashing some monsters to blow off steam? I really like Mistborn, as a lot of their characters have some really awesome designs. Mushette's a little bit on the more basic side, but there's nothing wrong with basic as long as her kit and whatnot is pretty powerful. Attributes: 126 con, pretty average. 149 attack, average for an assault. It's on the higher end of units in general, but for an assault, pretty average. 126 defense, pretty average. Psyche Surge, this is your enlightens. So no enlightens, 33.6% death resistance and 2.4 alieness regen. If you have her plus 12, 100.8% death resistance and 7.2 alieness regen. You'll see later that she scales with death resistance, so that extra death resistance is also extra crit rate and crit damage, which is pretty good synergy there. Talents for a dramatic encounter. For every 2 strike cards played, Mushette performs a pursuit, randomly dealing one instance of damage equal to 30% of Mushette's attack, counts as strike. This effect can trigger up to 4 times per turn. So you're going to want to invest in her Soul Forge to get her attack up, as well as her level, so that stat is higher. So her extra talent, pursuit, does a little bit more damage. It counts as strike, so that will mean it scales with anything that says strike. So if your wheel says your strike does more damage, or you have a relic that strikes do an extra effect, poison, counter, double hit, this talent is just a free extra activation of that. Soul Forge aptitude. Mushette's final damage against Dominator enemies, plus 20% to 50% if you have Soul Forge max. All Awakeners strike base damage, plus 15% at base, 35% at max. After triggering Death Resistance, Mushette gains 20 to 50 Alimus. As kind of seen before, she is a Death Resistance happy Awakener, so during a boss fight, hopefully, this effect will trigger quite a few times, and you'll get some nice Alimus, allowing you to exalt more frequently or over-exalt. I think that she will be a pretty good character to over-exalt if you want to invest in her. As I said, even before we had the 1-year anniversary, I was really excited for the collab, so I personally will be investing in her. Shining Tornado deals 740 damage to all enemies. This turn, all Awakeners strike damage plus 373. So she buffs everybody's strike, including her own. That's why that posse that we looked at before looks like it'll be pretty good with her. Since it's generic, you don't know what strikes you're going to draw. Even if it's not hers, their strikes are going to be a bit stronger. As well as her talent, it doesn't necessarily say for every 2 strikes she plays. It's possible that it is, possible that it isn't. We'll have to see once she's in the game. Tornado of Annihilation. This is the Over-Exalt. Hit counts plus 1, so an extra hit. For each death resistance triggered this battle, you trigger death resistance 4 times. This is going to trigger hit 4 times. Plus 1 additional hit. Set the arithmetica cost of the next Shining Crush played to 0. First release each battle additionally inflicts Fainted on all enemies. What Fainted does is replaces the enemy's current intent with Unable to Act. So basically she stuns the enemy for a turn with her Overexalt the first time you use this each battle. I think her Exalt is pretty good, and it should be relatively easy to get to Overexalt if you plan on Overexalting her. If you don't plan on Overexalting her, getting her regular Exalt ready whenever you're doing your burst turn will be relatively quick because of the rest of the kit here, and that allows you to buff the damage all around. So her Exalt is kind of about buffing damage, but it does decent amount of damage herself. Miss Realm Vestige. It's her Rouse. It costs 2. Mushette gains 50 alias. That's every Rouse. Rouse Dramatic Encounter. Dramatic Encounter hits count plus 2. Each time Dramatic Encounter triggers, Mushette's strike temporary final damage plus 25%. Dramatic Encounter was her talent up here. So every time you do Dramatic Encounter, her strike temporary final damage is plus 25%. So what you want to do is kind of save up a bunch of strikes and then use them, obviously. You use 2 strikes, plus 25% final damage. 2 more strikes, plus 25% final damage. That's 50%. 6, 75%. 8, 100% temporary final damage. So that doubles your final damage if you can get 8 strikes. Might be tricky to do, might not, depending on everything. I think the arithmetica cost of the cards will be more of a limiting factor than necessarily playing 8 strikes. Mortal Blast counts as strike. This is one of her commands. It's 1 cost. Deal 45 damage to 2 times to all enemies. Retain. Pretty good. This has an enlighten that adds an additional effect. Shining Crush counts as strike. Deal 90 damage 5 times to a random enemy. Gain 30 aliamus. This is her 3 cost. This is what I was talking about with charging her Exalt won't be too bad because you gain 30 aliamus every time you use it. You can use Mortal Blast to cycle it, and her Over Exalt grabs it for free. Or it doesn't grab it for free, it just makes it cost 0 the next time you play it. So you play Over Exalt, then you Shining Crush for free, then you Mortal Blast to get it back, and then you play it again. That's 60 aliamus right there, as well as 3 strikes played. Her strike, deal 30 damage, gains 10 aliamus, basic strike. Defense, gain 26 shield, gain 10 aliamus, basic defense. Her enlightens. For every 1% death resistance, Mushette and her equipped Wheel of Destiny and Covenants have, her crit rate and crit damage is increased by 0.15%. Each time death resistance is triggered, the crit damage provided by Mist Realm Traveler is plus 100% for this battle. So when you trigger death resistance, her crit damage shoots up. You can get 100% crit rate with this passive and the right Wheel of Destinies. Her own Wheel of Destiny is very good, as well as Lily's Wheel of Destiny. So having 100% crit is obviously great. That means you can focus crit damage for buffs and whatnot. Irretrievable Past. Mortal Blast generates 1 temporary copy of the last played other strike and makes it arithmetica cost -1. Mortal Blast is her 1 cost card here, as I was saying, to cycle her strike cards. Mortal Blast can also cycle other strike cards. It doesn't have to be Shining Crest. Let's say you want to play her with G. Hellet. You can use Bloodthirsty, then use Mortal Blast to bring the Bloodthirsty back, and then play the Bloodthirsty again. If you wanted to do something like that, she would also potentially work with Loten. There's a lot of different synergies that you can do here. Cleave out a future. Shining Tornado grants Mushette plus 1 hit counts this turn. Shining Tornado is her Exalt. So I'm not exactly sure if it's plus 1 hit for Shining Tornado or what, but her E3 kind of, from what I'm reading, is the weakest enlightened. If you want low enlightens for her, I would suggest stopping at E2, depending on exactly what her E3 means. Wheel of Destiny overview. Doomsday Rampage. This is the kind of wheel art that I really like. I do love how her wheel looks. Great chaos wheel, cool axe, cool colors. Attributes at base is 50.4% death resistance. At max is 100.8% death resistance. The wielder's Exalt and Pursuit base damage plus 30, 40, 50, 60%. She's going to Pursuit quite a bit, which is pretty nice. After playing any Awakener strike this turn, the wielder's strike damage temporarily 13, 17, 21, 25% of the wielder's attack. This effect triggers up to 8 times per turn. And as I said in her kit, if you used 8 strikes, that's 100% temporary final damage. So you're going to want to use it 8 times to increase the strikes damage further by 25%. So there's a lot of synergies here with strikes, playing a bunch. You get 8 strikes, 25% temporary strike damage 8 times. That's 200% strike damage for the turn. I can see a world where she is very, very good. Um, in the Mythag Veiled Secrets Discord, we've run a lot of numbers, and from what we have seen, um, it looks like she's going to do a lot of damage. Survivability might be an issue, but I think before touching her, at E2, she's probably a B tier, B plus. But at OE, I'm thinking that she's going to be an A tier, A plus tier unit. She's not going to be on par with G Murphy or Pollux or Kath in terms of flexibility. She might deal more damage than Kath. But she will be a very strong unit just looking at the numbers, hypothetically. So she has a lot of potential out there. We will see when she's in the game. I don't want to say, go ahead, pull for her, pull for her, pull for her. But I personally will because I like her design. I like her wheel. I think how she plays her cards with juggling the strikes is going to be a lot of fun. You Exalt, you Shining Crush, you Mortal Blast, you Shining Crush. Maybe you don't have Shining Crush and you need to do normal strikes. And then the Pursuit hit attacks. It's going to be a lot of fun just seeing that animation. Boom, 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 boom. I like a lot of the characters who hit a lot. Orita hits a lot. Corpo hits a lot. I like that. Machine gun attacks, and she kind of plays into that a lot. But you're actually using multiple cards for that instead of Orita Exalt hits 1,000 times. Corpusant, one lightning hits 5 times. She does that. She hits 5 times, and it's going to do a lot of damage, especially with all the different buffs. Another cool thing with her is she synergizes a lot with a lot of different relics, covenants, and wheels. And any awakener who has a buff that buffs strike. Base Hellet. Let's go ahead and move into the game here. Base Hellet, her Exalts buffs strike damage by 100%. This is generic, not Hellet's strike damage. It's all strike damage by 100%. So if you have Hellet, you Exalt, everything Mushette's damage does is doubled. So there's going to be a lot of synergies with her. I think we will have to wait and see what her final team is going to be. Feint is definitely a contender for a pair because she is going to have difficulties surviving. She likes death resistance, and Feint gives good death resistance. She gives a lot of death resistance. Feint's not going to actually buff her damage by putting her on the team, but it will help with survivability because she is going to struggle on longer bosses, 9-turn bosses, where they're hitting 1,000 damage per turn. Multi-hit bosses, I think, will be her greatest weakness, and she's not going to do very well with multi-hit bosses. But I think paired with Feint, it'll be okay. And so Caro is looking, to me, her best pair with Hellet and Feint. But I could see a world where you might play her with Ultra, with Tink, because Tink gives good crit damage, as well as there's going to be a lot of cards that you play, having -1 Arithmetica of the strikes and stuff. That'll be pretty useful as well. So we'll see exactly, but I think she's going to be a pretty good unit. All in all, I am very excited for version 2.4.1. Let me know what you think of this video, this style video. I know it's probably a little bit longer, but hopefully you enjoy not going on a huge rant tangent and a little bit more neutral for the content here. I'm excited for what we had. The devs did a great anniversary. I know that if you started playing a little bit before the anniversary, your account probably feels cracked right now. There were so many resources and materials, and G. Murphy is a really cool unit. They did great. I don't love her actual design. Her kit is super fun to play. But that's why I'm excited for Mushette. I like her design a little bit more. I'm okay with the basic units. Kath is my favorite unit, and she got so much hate for her design. She didn't have weird legs. Her arms weren't balls of chains. Didn't have a hole through her chest. Just kind of a standard person, and I'm okay with that. I'm not saying I don't love thighs. You know, give me weird goat girl any day, but I'm happy with a normal character. There's nothing wrong with Ramona. Normal looking unit. Sometimes normal units are pretty cool. Ogier, normal standard unit. So, and she's a chaos unit, and I think chaos units are kind of the more normal looking units. There is Rikers and G-Dolls are weird, but normal doll is pretty normal. Loten, pretty normal. Even Nymph is fairly normal. Being a chaos unit and looking normal, I think, is okay. If she was a normal looking Caro unit, these guys are a little bit more weird. I mean, Sorrel, though, I love how her design. If she was a little bit stronger, I think I would invest a little bit more in her. But I think Mushette might be like just a step above Sorrel in terms of power level. Let me know what you guys think of this video. That was Zioku signing off. Peace.